is the 77 WABC minicast.
Joining us now to talk about all of this is the former director of the DEA Special Operations Division. He was also chief of the New York Drug Enforcement Task Force, Special Agent Derek Maltz. We love you. And I got to ask your thoughts, Derek. The fact that the Biden administration is pointing the finger at the users, just like the judge was saying, the Mexican president says, with no responsibility of the border and going after the cartels.
Rita, thanks for having me back. Thank you very much. It's really important to discuss this topic, but it's disgusting that they're blaming the users because many of these users are significant depression, anxiety. They're turning to pills to help them. And unfortunately, the pills are fake and they're made in these dirty, filthy labs in Mexico, controlled by the cartels, and it's killing them at historic levels. So it's really, really disappointing to hear the White House blaming these poor people in America that are either addicted to opioids or don't know any better, and they're taking these pills thinking they're going to get some relief. It's disgusting. But more importantly, what Biden should be discussing is destroying and decimating the command and control infrastructure of the Mexican cartels. That's the bottom line, because they are producing so much fake pills and so many deadly substances that are coming into our country, killing our kids. And it's absolutely hard to imagine that a government in America would allow this to continue.
They killed how many? 107,000 in the last 12 months?
Yeah, with fentanyl in the United States.
Every 5 minutes.
Well, Derek, it's Richard Weinberg. Good to talk to you again. I have to tell you, Alabama has just raised the penalties for trafficking in fentanyl. And I submit that what every state has to do and the federal government has to do is they have to make these mandatory, very heavy sentencing for trafficking. You know, working with the materials that create the fentanyl, distributing the fentanyl, direct sales of the fentanyl, whatever angle you have to have for people in the chain of creation and distribution, you have to go after them for very, very heavy sentences. What do you say?
100%. Actually, I was invited to a summit yesterday down in Texas with Governor Abbott. I couldn't make it, but one of the things that they discussed is now talking about fentanyl as poison. So if you sell poison, you will be charged with murder. And that's really important. We have to have a deterrent. But let me just give you an example, because I track this stuff every day. So basically, over the last few days, there were 18 dead in Milwaukee because these people are taking fentanyl mixed with the xylazine, the tranq. This is a drug that's eating people from inside out. It's rotten their human tissue. Then last week on Friday, there were 11 poisoned, 3 dead in Portland, Oregon. Then ready for this, upstate New York, where I went to college, central New York. In a 48-hour period at the last week of March, there were 40 poisoned. This has never happened in this country's history. And we don't even hear about it on the mainstream media. We don't hear it from the White House. And it's absolutely irresponsible and disgusting.
You know what's amazing, Derek? I was just seeing Governor Abbott of Texas, who was on TV, and he just said that all his requests to the Biden administration to help with the border, like give us more agents, give us more this, by the way.
Ignored.
Totally ignored. They actually went unanswered from the governor of Texas. What does that say?
Well, I mean, this is basic leadership, Rita. I mean, Governor Abbott's doing everything possible. He's got the Department of Public Safety down there, an Operation Lone Star, working as best as they can, spending lots of money in the state of Texas budget just to go after these cartels, go after the illegal migrants. But unfortunately, you need the U.S. government to be supporting this type of initiative. And unfortunately, our White House is sleeping. Hey, look, when I testified March 1st, I called out the White House for a very simple thing. Have a summit, declare a national health and public safety emergency, get the professional sports athletes, get the social media influencers, the role model celebrities to start putting out video reels down to these kids so they can get educated, because the kids are not watching TV. They're not listening to the podcast and the radio. We have to get the messages to the kids, but they're not even talking about this stuff. That's what's really sad.
Well, we love you. You keep fighting the great fight for our country and to protect our borders and to protect our kids. Retired DEA Special Agent in Charge Derek Maltz,